Ladies and gentlemen, fellow viewers all over the world, in Amazonia and all over the world, you're all welcome to this show, The Analyst on ABC TV. Please, if you are just joining, please share, and share. I want to use this opportunity to thank all of you for watching us today. Just make sure you share as you join ABC TV. You are here live on ABC TV. Before I introduce our guests, I just want to have a little break and we continue. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching ABC TV live. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special show, and I want you to know that today we have a lot of topics to talk about. We have some very important guests today. You all have known them. They are very popular and they are very renowned political analysts. And today we're going to talk a lot from what is happening in Ground Zero, Ghost Town, what is happening during this lockdown. We have, remember, we have this day lockdown during these fake elections. We're also going to be talking about the various negotiation and the various dialogue process that we think that can better lead us to Boya. We're also going to be talking about different collaboration, those people calling for collaboration, what they want. And we're also still going to be talking about what people are talking about reconstruction and recovery, and also about the various disarmament and ceasefire from different diplomatic corps. Today we have with us Comrade Boh. You all know Comrade Boh, a popular, renowned journalist. Comrade Boh, are you with us?
I'm here. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Comrade Boh, for coming. Next panel, we have our famous legal analyst and political analyst, Baristar Nsoh.
Thank you very much, Frits, for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We also have Professor Eyong. He's a political analyst. He has been very famous on ABC TV. You all know him, Eyongakumbe. Professor Eyong, are you ready?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot is going on back in Ground Zero. We all know of the ongoing lockdown imposed by the various groups and the Ground Zero restoration forces. We all know that La Republique want to host their fake elections tomorrow. And we have asked all people in Ground Zero, all Amazonians, to respect the ghost town, to stay home and to avoid taking part in this fake election. We have our very famous porte-parole, a very famous Ground Zero fighter and general. He's called Gabonese. And we'll be hearing from him so that we know what's going on during this lockdown against this election, this fake election tomorrow. So very soon we'll be hearing from Gabonese from Ground Zero, who will be calling us directly from Ground Zero to tell us how the lockdown is going and what plans they have as restoration forces to impose this lockdown so that no election will be taking place in Ground Zero. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this opportunity to thank all our panel for respecting our invitation. Comrade Boh, I want you to give a little bit of introduction to yourself. You know, some people don't know about you that much, and most people will be asking, you know, you are the frontline leader, but some people have to know you because You have been one of those people who have been very pushful, very, into this struggle. Comrade Boh.
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother. Thanks for having me, and welcome to the other panelists. I don't call myself a frontline leader. I'm a frontline servant. I consider myself an Ambazonian who has risen, or who is fighting for the restoration of the independence of our people. By some stroke of luck, I am the spokesperson of the movement for the restoration of the independence of Southern Cameroon. It is a position that adds no additional value to who I am, and that means nothing in the light of the troubles that we have to resolve. And so I consider myself an Ambazonian fighting for this struggle. And I have the honor and privilege from time to time to speak on behalf of other people. And that's all the honor, that's all I bring to the table.
Thank you very much for that brief introduction. And fellow Ambazonian, we also have in the panel the famous Ambazonian, legal analyst. You all know him, but you don't know what he has been doing to this struggle. You don't know that he was the one who went right to Nigeria to bring our leaders back home and, remove them from the SCD where they were in the bunker. He's no person than Baristar Frits Nsoh.
Thank you very much, Frits. I am a former lead counsel for the Naira 10, the famous Naira 10 that all of us know. I've been a lawyer for more than 30 years in Douala, and then of course in Ambazonia, that's Boya, Bamenda, Muyuka, you can name it, and in Mundimba and so on, right down to Mante. I have been in the courts there, and I am here now on exile. And I'm also, I cannot, being a fighter for the cause of Ambazonia. I am an Ambazonian. I had said so on a local television in Douala, and I will continue to be. I have been fighting. I fight both politically and legally, and I'm here. I'll be answering all your questions, Frits.
All right. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you for that brief introduction. Also in the panelists, we have a very famous professor who has been in this struggle. He has been analyzing a lot of the happenings going back and forth in this struggle. You all know him. He's always there to make his own comments, his own remarks, his own opinion. He's Professor Eyong. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the accolade. We can talk about that some other time. I would first of all like to say that I am privileged to be in the midst of people like Baristar and Boh These are people that I look up to from the beginning of this struggle. The first person I saw that came out was Boh when they started killing Saudi Cameroonians. The first voice I heard in social media was Boh Baristar Frits Nsoh, as you've explained yourself, is very, very important, especially with the Naira 10, and we've been following what he has been doing. So I am really privileged to be, invited in this forum today. I have been watching what is going on in Cameroon for the past 4 years, and I have been putting my case in audios, which I've sent around, and some of them have been well received. And basically, I got a call up from, the secretary to join the team. So that's how I got myself in the team. So, I don't have all the accolades, but I am a Southern Cameroonian, and I am determined to make sure that this injustice that is happening to our people comes to an end. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Professor Eyong. Ladies and gentlemen, so we are going to start with this issue that is going on back in Ground Zero, the issue of this fake election. We all know that the interim government has imposed a lockdown, and from the 4th to the 7th, it's a lockdown, total lockdown in Ground Zero. I want to have some information from our spokesperson in Ground Zero. His name is Gabonese. I just want to get some information from him, and he is going to tell us a little bit what is going on and what the restoration fighters are planning to do tomorrow against this fake election. So we're going to listen from Gabonese, who is back home. Hello, spokesperson Gabonese. Yes, Gabonese. So what's going on? So how is the lockdown going on back there?
Sound, please, sound.
No, everybody is at home. And the pictures shows that everybody is respecting the lockdown, and we are making sure that we enforce the lockdown. And tomorrow will be much more enforced than today. And our forces are much more ready for tomorrow to make sure nobody is being found on the road and in the streets. So how about Limbe, Victoria, Kumba, Mutengene, Bamenda? What's going on there? Is it enforced tomorrow? Because tomorrow is a D-day for the elections. Yeah, actually, Victoria is a little bit all that way, but you know that from my 1, my 4, right down up to my 17, my 16, Muyuka, right up to Kumba, the Lord is very effective. But the only thing is that I want to advise all Ambazonians, all Southern Cameroonians, that tomorrow is the colonial election in our national territory. We are going to identify those defaulters that will violate our lockdowns and come on the streets. If you are being shot by stray bullet, don't blame us, because we have a total confrontation between the forces of occupation in our national territory. So, Gabonese, what police stations have you identified back there? Because we hear that they're going to be having some police stations in Boya, in Bamenda, in Kumba, in some other areas. Yeah, for now, we have identified the police in Limbe, because some of the colonial chiefs, some of the chiefs are going to participate in Victoria. But according to my report that I got, some of the chiefs have refused to partake in the election, and they have been forced that they must partake. And there's a situation in Dian. You saw on the Equinox, the Dio Indian, they have arrested some of the chiefs and locked them in Comunicado and forcing them to partake in the election. So sometimes I wonder how our chiefs have stood so low that they have sold their cultural heritage for the political cabal and the CPDM and the Yahudi regime. Because our chiefs are so respected, and we Ambazonian Station forces and Ambazonian citizens, we know our cultural heritage. So for all those chiefs that are middling with the CPDM cabal in Yaoundé, I want to say on this message: after the vote, just enter the armor car and you go to Yaoundé, because there will be no hearts of chiefs in Ambazonia. There will be no CBDM mafia heart of chief in Ambazonia. It will not work until total restoration of our national territory. Thank you very much, Gabonese. Please just make sure you keep us updated with the information tomorrow, because everybody will put an eye on all the police stations, all those chiefs from Yaoundé, those fake chiefs coming to vote. Please just keep us updated so that we should be aware of what is going on tomorrow. Thank you very much, Gabonese. Hello. Yes. Yeah, there's something I want to say. Please just give me 1 minute. Let me say something. Hello? Yes, go on. Go ahead. Yeah, I want to make it clear to every chief, son, councillor that is partaking on this fraudulent regional election. I want to make it clear to all of them that they are not recognized party, and they should understand that as they have partaken in such a demonic election, from tomorrow Sunday, the 6th of December 2020, we don't respect their chieftaincy anymore. And due to how they have killed our people in Ambazonia, we have automatically dethroned them from their crown. So they should know that they are enemy of the state of Ambazonia. So any chief or son that will find him or her at the list on that electoral list, or the name will be published as a chief, he or she should know that the councillor and the chief and the phone, after the voting, they should take their emergency amoka at Yaoli, because we will not allow them to rest on the blood and the flesh of our people killed. Thank you very much. The message has been passed. Thank you very much, Gabonese. The message has been passed. And ladies and gentlemen, as you were listening, that is Gabonese. He was calling right from ground zero. He has passed the information to the chiefs, those chiefs who have taken monies to come and sell their home, to sell their village, to sell their palaces. So thank you very much, Gabonese, for that information. Our panelists, I want to come to you guys. I know it was so difficult for this past week back home, but owing to this election, we hear that La Republique is organizing this fake election to tell the international community that things have gone back to normal. Is this election necessary at this time that war is ongoing back in ground zero? Comrade Boh.
Yeah, thank you very much, and my thanks to Gabonese speaking out of ground zero there. Very clear messages coming out from him. The first thing is, I think we keep dignifying this thing by calling it an election. This is not an election, and no one should call it such. No one should treat it as such. La République du Cameroun wishes that we will describe it as an election, and that we will treat it as an election, and that in the process we will confuse the international community to believe that it is an election. Now, whether it was an election or it is a selection, which it is, the latter, they have no right to organize any form of selection or election in Ambazonia. It does not belong to other people to determine a timetable for our people to be free. It does not belong to other people to determine a time when our people can accept doses of freedom, whether those doses are in the form of integration or of forced unity or of decentralization or of reintegration or of federalism. That is not the decision of anyone else to take. It is the decision of the people of Ambazonia. And the people of Ambazonia have, in overwhelming majority, made it overwhelmingly clear that they want nothing to do with the contraption that is called the Cameroons. They want nothing to do with the fake confederation that was put in place by the international community. And we have told the world, pursuant to United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1514, that our people have taken their responsibility into their hands and are walking away have walked away from the union since 2017. And we have also pointed out that La République du Cameroun seceded from whatever confederation was formed in 1984. We have been nice, waiting since 1984 to take a decision in 2017. We gave them all the time to rethink the craziness into which they had gone into. And at this point, the belief that armored cars escorting people around, buckets of people around, to go and vote in toilets will then result in an election outcome or a selection outcome that will be imposed on the people of Ambazonia is a joke.
Thank you, Comrade Boh. I want to ask Baristar that for the past our people stayed in Nigeria house for 40 years. and they were allowed to leave Nigeria very safely without any war, any problem. But what is going on with these people? Is it a different culture or whatever? Because our people walk out of the Nigerian house without any problem. Barrister.
Yes, yes, Frits, thank you very much. Our people walked out from Nigeria in 1953 or 54 without any problem. Shake of hands, gentlemanly, and we came back to Boya and established the only one of the only democratic governments in Black Africa. We were the first to have free and fair elections in Black Africa when we left Nigeria. That's when the first Southern Cameroon government was instituted. Frits, I don't know how we got ourselves into this mess, but that is history. But La République du Cameroon has known nothing but war. They did this to the Bamileke tribe by killing and cutting their heads and putting on the road, and people were partying and watching. Now they think they are doing it, they think that they are successfully doing it to us. They are very, very mistaken. Since 2016, they have unleashed this war on us, and the climax, we finally declared war in 2017. And since that war was declared, Frits, there has been no election in Ambazonia, in the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Or what you hear, take for example Mr. Bia's so-called re-election in 2018, it was all a sham in Ambazonia because nobody came out to vote. Let me tell you, I have credible evidence from ground zero that in Bamenda they have already voted. You will not believe it. I don't know whether you can call it a vote or selection. They did their selection in Ayaba Hotel. We followed it minute by minute. And there will be no election tomorrow. They have earmarked what you call polling stations. You go there, you will find nobody because everything has been fixed like they do in other elections. If we are calling a lockdown is to send a clear message to the international community that no election took place in our territory. We are a different country. La République has no right to organize any kind of election in our territory. We are at war with La République. Where in the world has anybody organized elections in a war zone? They bring armored cars. They carry enablers all over the place in armored cars. Oh, we are going for election in Bamenda and Boya and Mamfe and all the rest of it. There has been no election. There will be no election. What happened in Ayaba Hotel is happening somewhere in Boya in hiding, because they know that our restoration forces are there. They cannot vote. They cannot go to any election tomorrow. Watch my word. Those polling stations, anybody passing there, you know that our restoration forces will get you. And if your name features on any list as a candidate, I don't want to say what may happen, but watch it. There is no election in our territory tomorrow. They have already done their selection in Ayaba Hotel and in Boya and other places. I heard Gabonese talking about the arrest of certain chiefs in India. Yes, I heard that too. But the chiefs in India decided that they will not go for any election, and the SDO brought his army and they arrested our chiefs and put them somewhere and forcing them to vote or forcing them to select. Well, let the world know that the chiefs of Ndian had refused any kind of election in their territory. That's why the SDO of Ndian has arrested them and they are now under arrest. Tomorrow they will say that they have voted in Ndian. Let the world know that, because there's no election going on in Dian. The chiefs are determined. If you care, you take them to prison. They are determined that there will be no election in Dian. So let them not think that they are doing anything in the hiding. International community is watching them minute by minute. Frits, these people think that they are in a bubble of their own. The world has become a global village. There are satellite imageries everywhere in the world. You cannot deceive anybody anymore. There is no election tomorrow. Look, there will be a resource. But I tell you, this is what they call a regional house of assembly and regional house of chiefs. Where will they hold those regional houses? In Amazonia? They are wasting their time, because it will not happen. It will not happen. And let those who are on that list, like Gabonese said, they should take a armored car back to Yaoundé. Back to Yaoundé. Because it will not happen. We are at war, and we are at war. You know what that means? It means shooting and killing and so on. La Republic thinks they can intimidate us with elections. It will not happen. They are using this election to divide and rule us, to say, creating two House of Chiefs, one in Boya, one in Bamenda, you know, and so that to say that the south, what they call southwest, is different from the northwest. Listen, you divided us during your time, those your 60 years. We stopped you in 2017, and we are now a nation. Our nation had only one legislature, the Southern Cameroon House of Assembly, and they had only one House of Chiefs, which was like it was like a Senate, but not exactly. But the chiefs had their own say in the governance of Southern Cameroon, and then they had a government. So anything else that they are doing now is a distraction, but the world is watching them. The world knows what they are doing. Mark my word, I'm talking to La Republique. Whether your president is alive or is dead, that is immaterial, because he since for several months now nobody has heard from him. But we know that the junta in Yaoundé is trying to avoid the deadline given to them by the United Nations in December. That's why they can afford to get some enablers to go to New York and organize what you call Comrade Boh. You call it what a coalition for negotiation and dialogue. I don't know what, maybe they dialogue among themselves, but I don't know which negotiation they carry out. And then there's another big one taking place in Ghana. And you will not believe that some of us are being lured into that place. I am predicting that if they are not careful, there will be Naira too coming from Ghana. Because La Republique is unpredictable.
Thank you, Baristar. Thank you. I want to bring in Professor Ayo, because we have seen that the chiefs are under duress. The chiefs are under pressure. You saw what the spokesperson for Meme Fakod said a while ago about the pressure given to some chiefs locked in a room. These are the jobs of the SDOs. These people that we don't know what they're doing, and they are called les chefs de terre, where they are not even part of that area, but they come from Yaoundé and Betila, and they come and call them chefs de terre. So these are the work of the SDOs there. They have no business in Amazonia. Professor Ayo, I want you to come here to come and give what do you think the chiefs are doing if they are enabling this election? Because for the past 56 years, we have seen nothing good coming from these people. Be it the fake federation, be it the fake decentralization that they are trying to do. There's nothing good coming from these people.
Okay, I think you made a few interesting points there. I'm going to digress a little bit. Cameroon looks like a country that has been organized for the Beti tribe, or whether you call them a Wondo tribe, whatever, to control. If you go to Cameroon right now, every important post. I was in Cameroon in 2015. I lost my mom and went to see a few friends who were working in important offices, civil engineers, and things like that, medical doctors. Every one of them had a Beti man as their boss. Okay, this is a country that has been set aside for the Beti people. I mean, in fact, if your name is Mbala or Mbaraga or whatever it is, people in Cameroon are scared of you. You are management. Okay, that name is oppressive to Cameroonians because people have become used to them dominating, controlling them. Okay, so that's what it is. They are controlling those deals. Those deals, I mean, those chiefs are compromised. They are compromised. Now, what do you do with somebody who is compromised? They are compromised. They can't actually do anything else. If they are compromised because Paul Biya is a dictator, and when he tells you that you're running an election and you don't do it, he will kill you. He's a dictator. Paul Biya is actually a terrorist. Look at the country as the country has been running. If you don't do what he likes, you will disappear. Okay? He will take any opportunity, he will find a reason to kill them. He will say that it was the Amber Boys who killed them. So we need to go a little bit softly with these Southern Cameroonians who are in Cameroon uncompromised. We should accept that they will be making stupid decisions. We should accept that. And we should be targeting La Republique because it's them who are plotting all of this. In terms of these elections that they're trying to run, they're calling it House of Chiefs. I know where they got the name House of Chiefs from. We had House of Chiefs. So what they are trying to do here, in a way, they're trying to sneakily get back to Southern Cameroon, right? Without coming out openly because they are scared. What they need to do, first of all, is to apologize to the people of Southern Cameroon that we have, what's the right word for that thing again? We have annexed your country. We are sorry for annexing your country. We are sorry for the things and the hurt that we've caused. We sacked your prime minister, who was Mr. Foncha. We destroyed all your institutions. We destroyed PWD marketing, but we are sorry about it. Paul Biya could have lied. He said, "Look, it was Aija who did that. It wasn't me." If they talk like that, we will listen. Okay, so they should then give back our country to us. All right. Once they've given back our country to us, which means they recognize Southern Cameroon as an independent country, because I've checked and checked and checked, Southern Cameroon is independent. I'm not very good with. I'm not a journalist or I'm not a politician, but I've read those United Nations documents and what happened in America and the plebiscite. Southern Cameroon is an independent country. Okay, so they should first of all, La Republique, they're not going anywhere if they don't recognize the independence of Southern Cameroon. Once they've done that, then the Southern Cameroonians can decide whether they want to have any discussion with La Republique. And first of all, the Southern Cameroon will rebuild their own institutions by themselves. So the House of Chiefs, they will have to rebuild that. They will have to do all the things they need to do. So I don't know where they are going with trying to come to our country. They haven't apologized for the wrongdoing, and they start imposing elections. One crime on top of another crime is, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so the ghost town is a fantastic idea. It works because they can't target any particular person. Everybody's at home. All right. If it was one person protesting, "Oh, I'm not having election," you know what will happen to that person. But whoever came out with this ghost town, I respect that person. It's a fantastic idea, and I totally support it. Okay. And the only thing I'll add to that is sometimes when we have our ghost towns, I'm thinking that it's good to put a reason for the ghost town. All right. This ghost town is about this. That ghost town is about this one is about the elections. So that is a fantastic thing. So I'll leave it for now. I don't want to spend the whole day talking, but that's my position on it. All right. So back to you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much for that good analysis. I'll go to Comrade Boh. Comrade Boh, I want to ask you this because you have been there, during the days back in the days of the SDF, the NCNC, the AAC1, the AAC2. Back then, we know that we were begging for federation. We were begging La Republique. I know you were part of the Dr. Luma, the Ekontas, the Anyangwes, with the younger generations when the Ayabas and the Akwangas came in. But back then, we were begging for federation. So what was the problem back then that they couldn't give us that federation back then? They are coming to give us now that we're already gone. Comrade Boh.
Yeah. There's something called selling after the market. That's what they're doing. There was a time when it was very clear. I think Baristar Agbobala told them very clearly in 2016 that they will be asking us to accept federalism and it will be too late. At that time, that's what they thought. But look, I don't want to put myself in the same class as Samuel Kontang, Carlson Anyangwe, and Simon Munzo. These are people who did it's Ella de Kontang, sorry, not Simon. These are people who did their job in the early days, who did what was needed for the people of Ambazonia, who stood up for the people of Ambazonia, who pointed out that there was an international treaty reached between the former French territory of La République du Cameroun and the former British territory of Southern Cameroons. It was an international treaty because both territories first had to obtain independence before they went into a negotiation. That is why the independence of Ambazonia was recognized as having been obtained on the 21st of April 1961 on the UN General Assembly floor. And then there was a period during which the international treaty between the two countries needed to be formalized, a union treaty put together, and registered with the Secretary General of the United Nations. That did not happen. However, our people who had voluntarily accepted to form the confederation with La République du Cameroun, our people thought they could make it work. That is why they persisted in the search for a solution. So a political party like the SDF was put together. Essentially, if we take the words of Albert Mukong, the Honorable Albert Mukong, who has no need at all to lie, the SDF was set up on the foundation of getting our country back. But because there were difficulties registering a political party that had a regional objective, and that political party could not be recognized, and there was the double pressure of Honorable Albert Mukong and Vincent Fuku going out to Douala to contact people like Baristar Yondo Black to get them into the idea that an opposition political party was being formed. When that leakage happened, the SDF had to pretend that it was indeed a political party at a national level. But the purpose of the SDF was to return our people to their state and to return our country to our people. That was the purpose. Now, obviously, the opportunists within the SDF, including Mr. John, ran away with power as soon as they got it. That is why 30 years after, he's still sitting on what he perceives to be a throne at the helm of the SDF, and he believes that he is leading a national party. You are not a national party when essentially the votes you get are coming out of a region. You are not a national party when they have reduced you to 3 point something % of the vote, whether it is by forged by fraud or it's by, proper election. In any case, when you engage in elections, you assume the responsibility of the outcome. And so the SDF has gone from the political party that was a 35% powerhouse in 1992 to the midget that it has become in 2020, which is a 3% political party, beaten out by the MRC if you take the political weight at the presidential election level. So our people through the 1990s, when they went through AAC1, believed that La République du Cameroon will understand what our people were talking about, which was the force of argument, that they would see what legal basis they're evoking to ask for a return to federalism. But by AAC2, and this is a big shame for someone like Dr. Simon Munzo, who read the resolutions at AAC2, it was very clear. Our people said, we will return and we will restore our independence without further asking you anything. Simon Munzo read that resolution and cried over the resolution because our people had definitely said, we will cross the Rubicon at our time when the moment comes. And when that moment came in 2017, our people crossed the Rubicon. We gave notice to everyone, to the international community, to La République du Cameroon, to their masters in France, to those who had presided over the Boh decolonization process, which is the United Nations, to the African Union, which had a responsibility to ensure that an international treaty between the two territories were respected. We had given notice to the African court in Banjul, in the Gambia, that our people, and the court had recognized that our people had a right to self-determination and that that right could not be denied our people by anyone else. So there was enough notice on the table. And Mr. Biya himself, when he recognized that our people had taken the action that they had taken, on the 19th of November 2019, sitting with Mo Ibrahim in Paris, he admitted, we spent 60 years trying to assimilate these people. The word assimilate is a code for recolonization. We spent 60 years trying to recolonize these people and we failed. Now, when you fail in an enterprise, you recognize that you don't only recognize that you fail, you assume the consequences of your failure. And the consequences of the failed recolonization is restitution of the state of Ambazonia. And the people of Ambazonia, because we are not begging anybody and we are not asking anybody, and that includes the international community with respect to the rights that we have by way of right, we are not asking them. We are going to go forward because for 900 years, the world has thought they can tell black people when they can be free. For 900 years, the world has thought they can dictate to black people when they can be slaves and when they can be 2/3 of a person. For 900 years, they have thought they can say when colonization was good and when apartheid was good. For 900 years, they have treated us like black lives don't matter. And we have come to the point with the never again generation that has said, we will do this on our terms. We are who we have been waiting for. And this is our time to return our country to our people. And that is being done no matter what the international community, no matter how long the international community drags its feet about this matter, they're going to have to deal with the reality of law, with the reality of a people who reject colonization, and with the reality of undoing a crime against humanity, because colonization in all its form and colonial domination in all its forms is a crime against humanity.
Thank you, Comrade Boh. I want to ask our legal analyst, Baristar Nsoh, because Frundi is part of the enabler of enabling this regime as an opposition party. You know, he's still the chairman for the past 20 plus years, and he enabling this regime for this election shows that the CPTM, is going to run with his councillors with the SDF party. But there's no second party there. There's just one party system, one dictatorship. So, Baristar Fru, is the chairman Frundi enabling the regime for this fake election going on tomorrow?
Before I answer your question, Frits, let me add something to what Boh has just said. Boh has carefully called it down confederation because I have been looking at the Fumban conference. At the Fumban conference, our delegation, led by Dr. J.N. Foncha, and in which the only lawyer was amongst, and that is Egbe Tabi. They said in Fumban, no discussion on the Union Treaty, nothing. They were only drinking and dancing and waiting. Now it ended up as it ended up. La République du Cameroon, as it then was, and it is today, came up with a federal, so-called federal constitution. They never bothered to send it to the West Cameroon Parliament, which was still existing then, for it to ratify. And thank God they didn't do that, because they could have said, okay, we sent a federal constitution to their parliament and they ratified it. No, they never. What did they do? They went and took a constitution of their country, modified it into some kind of a federal thing, and thank God one of their lawyers, who was a little bit sympathetic to us, inserted Article 47, which says that before they change the federal system, they have to consult the Southern Cameroon. That is interpretation of that article. What did they do in 1972? They didn't consult anybody. So I'm just trying to say that Boh has carefully carved it now into a confederation, because there was no such thing, neither confederation or federation, existing between us and La République du Cameroon. And when Pa Foncha turned and asked Egbe Tabi, the other lawyer, now that we don't have a New York Treaty, what do we do? You know what the smart lawyer said? He said, listen, Pa, this is an opportunity for us. At any time, we can opt out. And that time came in 2017. After La République had opted out in 1984, as Boh carefully, skillfully analyzed it. Now, to answer your question, John Prundi knows that he is an enabler of La République du Cameroon, in the real terms of being an enabler. Why? He does not have enough councillors, because this election between is the electors. It's an indirect election. The electors are councillors and the chiefs and the traditional rulers. The CPDM has carefully taken the traditional rulers for themselves. Prundi has no traditional ruler that is aligned with him. Number two, how many councillors does Prundi have anywhere in Ambazonia? Right now, the councillors that exist in Ambazonia, Prundi has no, I don't know how many he has. I don't know whether he has anything. So what is he going for the election for? Is to enable La République to continue to enslave us. If we have one enemy, one important enemy in Ambazonia is John Prundi. And John Prundi, I can tell you now that if God helping us, we arrive Boya on time, John Prundi will be ostracized from the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, aka Southern Cameroon, because he has demonstrated that he is not a Southern Cameroonian. Do you know where John Prundi lives now? He lives in Yaoundé. He cannot go to Bamenda. He has given his house, his whole compound, to the B, Mr. Bia's killer force, Brigade Intervention Rapide. That is their headquarters right now in Bamenda. And he is living in Yaoundé in Bastos. So he is no longer part of us. So let him not dream that he's going to come back. And that goes for all the other chiefs. All those chiefs who escaped, who abandoned their thrones and go to and are living in Yaoundé. I know of one important fund in the northern zone, the fund of Bali, who are run away from his palace and is living in Yaoundé. They should know that they are now citizens of La République du Cameroon. The Bali people will look for one of the princes and appoint and elect and of course nominate their own fund. We consider those kind of funds that have left as if they are missing. You know what? When they say a fund is missing in the Northwest, you know what that means? He is dead. Boh, am I right?
They never die. They just go missing.
They just disappear. They are missing. They are missing. And if you leave your throne and you are in Yaoundé, you are officially missing. Don't come back. Don't come back to Ambazonia because you don't have a throne again in Ambazonia. Those are the people that CPDM is using to nominate all this nonsense that they are doing. And Frundi has nothing. And he claimed that he is going for election to do what? How many of those regional councillors can Frundi boast that CPDM will give him? Because CPDM will divide. I don't know whether they are going to give him anything. Because there will be no election. I have already said, tomorrow, watch my word. You go to any polling station, you will see nobody. But if you find some people, there's some civil servants sitting there claiming they're elected. And of course, our restoration forces will blow the hell out of them. There will be no election in our territory tomorrow. So how is Frundi? Frundi was made prominent by the northern zone and the southern zone. We gave Frundi the position he has now. He has used it to make money. He has used it to get close to Mr. Biya. He is now Mr. Biya's closest friend, and of course they are now enjoying membership in the SEC, the Freemason, and they are now hands in glove, thanks to the northern zone and the southern zone. At that time, we were thinking that with SDF in power, we may be able to use that to get out of this unholy marriage. I don't know whether there was any marriage anyway, because Pa Poncha turn around and ask Gwetabi, what do we do? Leave it, Pa. We will opt out at any time. And we opted out in 2017. Thank you.
Thank you, Baristar. That was a good one. I want us to go to this aspect of collaboration and unity, because a lot of people, a lot of Ambazonians don't understand this issue. I want Professor Eyong to come in here, because when we look at this, what is going on with La Republic, they are claiming that Ambazonian leaders are divided, that people they want to come and negotiate and dialogue, but they are kind of confused. So I want Professor Eyong, can you try to give a little bit about, you gave a little idea when I listened to one of your programs. You were talking about collaboration, unity, trying to break those bridges. I know some people are saying collaboration is necessary for all the groups and everybody, but some people are saying that no, we don't need to collaborate with enablers. But can you really tell us how to differentiate between enablers and other people, because collaboration is a very, very tricky word when it comes to unity. Professor Eyong.
Well, I think there's a lot of problems here. I think the first thing is La Republic should be very careful. We are normal. We are just like any other country. Southern Cameroonians at the moment were exercising our democratic rights amongst ourselves. All right? So as a result of that, you have Cho Ayaba has a different opinion. You have Sako, who is the leader of the interim government. You have Akwanga, who has another idea. Now, what do you do with that? Are you saying that that is division? Well, you can call it division, but at the end of the day, in every country, in the United States, you have the Democratic Party and you have the Republican Party. You have people have different ideas. The fact that we have this different political orientation or different political ideas does not mean that Southern Cameroon should be given to La République. Okay? La République cannot turn around and say, these people are disorganized, therefore there's nobody to talk to, and therefore I will continue to annex them. That doesn't make any sense. Okay? If you steal my car, and I come to take my car from you, you can't turn around to me and say, you're always quarreling with your wife, so I'm not going to give you back your car. That doesn't make any sense. So the fact that Southern Cameroonians have diverse opinion and people are disagreeing with one another, it's perfectly normal. If that makes sense, it's perfectly normal. But we all there's no Southern Cameroonian, none of them, all these people you call all these activists, there's none of them that would like La République to annex their country. I don't think there's anyone. All right?
Yes.
We all agree that La République has misbehaved. They've been very, very sneaky, very cheeky, and they've taken over another African country. You can call it what they call it, it is stealing. All right? So every single person, all these activists agree on the fact that our country has been annexed. And La République should not come up with any argument that there is a disagreement between us and therefore they should continue the annexation. They should stop this annexation and respect the nation of Southern Cameroon. In terms of collaboration, we've gone through, and the other speakers have gone through the history, so I'm not going to go through that. But we've had the plebiscite. We had the plebiscite. We had a plebiscite manifesto. There's a document that governs the plebiscite that we had. Okay? It clearly states that we control our oil, we control our customs, we control our energy, all the things that we control. That is their problem. When they look at the plebiscite manifesto, they don't like it. See, they want to take over our country. They don't want a relationship in which Southern Cameroon is controlling their resources. That is the problem, which is why I'm sure when they've seen the plebiscite manifesto, they didn't want to sign the Union Treaty. I'm just guessing here. I mean, the other speakers are more experienced than I am, but just looking at common sense, if you look at that plebiscite manifesto, I got this information from Goji Dinka, of course, so I had to just reference him. But according to the plebiscite manifesto, we actually control our oil. Now, where is La République's money coming from? Oil from Southern Cameroon. So how are they going to sign a union treaty with you when you control your oil? They don't want that. So all this confusion, we don't want, they're not signing the Union Treaty, there is no federal constitution, the United Republic of Cameroon, all this confusion that's going on, it must be because they've looked at us, they've looked at our resources, they want our resources, so they want us in their control. They've annexed us, to put it mildly, they've annexed our oil. And whatever they've got, we've probably got some resources that we haven't seen. They've annexed all of that. And for you to take it back from them, they are prepared to fight a war. Okay? They are prepared to fight a war, lie, do whatever they like to make sure that you are not controlling your resources. So they are not following the agreement. They are not following the agreement that we had when we did the plebiscite. And as far as I am concerned, and I've not consulted anyone on this, that plebiscite, as far as I'm concerned, just following logic, is a note. If I'm with you in a relationship and I state to you clearly that in this relationship, you will control your resources, I will control my own resources, you will control this, I will control my customs, you control your customs, I control my tax, you control your tax. If you are not following any of this agreement, then that plebiscite that we had is not valid anymore. And therefore, each country should really go back to themselves. If they want a relationship with us, collaboration that you're talking about, they have to go and look at all of these documents, especially the plebiscite manifesto, respect Southern Cameroon, respect that document. That thing, that plebiscite manifesto was signed by British, and I mean, you guys know more about that document than I do, but they need to respect the sovereignty of Southern Cameroon. Then we can collaborate. These tricks and three-card business, where we don't really know where they are going with it, we cannot really collaborate. Do you see what I'm saying? They are trying to give us autonomy. They want to give us autonomy inside La République. That's what they're trying to do. Oh, we want to give you a House of Chiefs. They have not given our country back. So whatever negotiation we are doing with La République, or whatever collaboration you are talking about, is inside La République. They are not saying to us, we are sorry, that is your country. Can we have a relationship? Keep your prime minister. Our capital is Boya, right? Our capital is Boya. What happened? Can somebody explain to me how Boya suddenly, was it the UN that said that Boya is no longer a capital? We have a country, we have a capital, we had a prime minister, we had institutions, all right? They have to respect these institutions first. Once they've respected this institution, then we can collaborate with them. That's what I think. Okay, so I'll pass it back to the
Yes. Still, thank you for that. Professor Ayo, you analyze it very well. Let me go to Comrade Boh, who can really, because Comrade Boh is part of the ACT team. The ACT team is a very powerful team. The coalition team, that the team ambassador that are in charge of this negotiation, this collaboration, this aspect. So I want to ask Comrade Boh that now that La Republic is taking this excuse that they don't know who to talk to, what should the ACT team and the other groups and the frontline leader do? Should they create some other platform? Because we know that the ACT team is there and they're working, for the negotiation. So why is La Republic trying to claim that they don't know who to talk to?
Well, I like what the professor just did a moment ago, because the truth is this, that no deal was sealed. None. Remember, when we talk about their constitution, it is their constitution adopted on the 1st of September 1961. It was not even adopted, it was decreed. Now, 1st September 1961. Our country is not independent yet. But it is that document, that is the document of annexation, that extends sovereignty by presidential fiat over the people of Southern Cameroon. So it was not a collaboration. Remember also that on the 21st of April 1961, there was only one vote. That vote said, grant these people independence, then they can join you in an arrangement that you are going to work out later. They voted no. So they voted no for independence, but they also voted no for joining. It is as if a couple goes up to a church or to a civil authority, and one of the parties to the marriage says, I don't want to marry. And the civil authority or the church says, I marry you. That's what the UN did. That's what the UN did. That the party that lost the vote at the United Nations got rewarded with a gift from the United Nations, despite the alarm bells that were being rung by the Secretary General just before then, Dag Hammarskjöld, about the trouble that was bound to appear because of this forced union. Now, let's talk a bit about collaboration and unity and partnership in this struggle. Number one, we are going through a period of a lockdown right now, which is very successful. We've seen ghost towns, which the professor was saluting a moment ago because of their success. Now, these ghost town operations and lockdowns are, in my opinion, credit to the people of Ambazonia. It does not matter which group calls for these ghost towns, which group employs the most resources towards these ghost towns. These are victories that the people of Ambazonia need to celebrate together, because it is together that we will cross the bridge. It is together that we rise, and it is together that we sink. And so it is important that in building our moral spirit, in building our momentum towards restoration of independence, that we celebrate these victories as a whole. So they are the products of collaboration, whether people accept that collaboration or not, whether they intend it or not, whether they oppose it or not. It is as if the national team of Ambazonia was playing at Abakwa Stadium, and half the stadium did not want the Ambazonia football team to win, but they won in any case. When they win in any case, that victory belongs to Ambazonia, whether you opposed it or you were lined up with it. It is like the United States, bitterly divided between Democratic and Republican parties. But when you go through a successful democratic election and you beat back a coup that was being organized in this country, the victory is to the country, it is to the people. And so I want the people of Ambazonia to recognize that in spite of the divisions, in spite of the divisive rhetoric, in spite of people coming forward and claiming credit more than others, when successful things happen to Ambazonia, repeated in victory as we are united in defeat if we are going to cross the finish line together. And they have told us famously in the Holy Book that a house divided against itself will not stand. Now, they have raised the issues of collaboration, and I've heard responses that have said there should first be reconciliation before there is a collaboration. Now, these things are important to talk about a bit, because what is important is forgiveness. In the process of bringing about this restoration, people are going to make mistakes. We are going to grow by forgiving each other, by recognizing that people may have great intention, they may pursue it in the wrong way. And so forgiveness is something that we do. We deliver to ourselves and to the other person. It is not dependent on the other person. So anybody in this revolution should be fully capable of granting forgiveness and accepting forgiveness. If you cannot do it, you cannot talk about reconciliation. Because forgiveness depends on you, reconciliation depends on the two of you agreeing to some truths, agreeing to what evidence exists, and admitting that that evidence is indisputable. And then accepting that in spite of whatever wrong has been committed in the past, we can accept to go forward together. Then you build a reconciliation, depending on the two of you. Collaboration is something we must do, because we cannot win the hearts of our people by tearing their hearts down. We cannot win the hearts of our people by denying them the opportunity to belong in other groups. As the professor, it is the constitutional and democratic right of the people of Amazonia to belong to different groups, to support different leaders, to align behind different fighting forces. But at the same time, so long as the fight for Amazonia, it has to be a responsibility to stand behind each and every one of them and support them. Now, there's one last thing that I must say, which is a very crucial thing. There are people in this revolution who have made an alliance with the devil, or who have a shady relationship that does not allow you to fully understand whether they stand for Ambazonia or not. So, for instance, when people get freed from prison under terms that are not disclosed to the people of Ambazonia, those people have in any case reached an agreement with the colonizer. So those people, by virtue of having a deal with the colonizer that is not disclosed to the people of Ambazonia, are technically disqualified to speak on behalf of the people of Ambazonia, because we don't know what knife or gun they're holding against their heads. People who are in jail technically have a gun against their head, They don't have the freedom to negotiate on behalf of the people of Ambazonia. Nobody's talking here about competence or incompetence. We're just talking about the practical freedom that you have to have in order to negotiate for freedom. And because of that, people who find themselves in that situation cannot try to qualify themselves for negotiations. Then, Team Ambazonia was constituted on the basis that Ambazonians from all walks of life will be needed to come together so that we can look at what negotiations we should put together, working as a team to confront La République du Cameroon as one team, so that we don't have separate groups. So once we put together that team has been put together called the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation Division. That is rejecting the possibility of joining a team to which you have been invited. The door is wide open, invitation tendered and never withdrawn. You are deciding that you are going to split the people of Ambazonia. Just the same way that the negotiation table being prepared in Switzerland, people decided that they were going to open another negotiation table from prison or from the parlor of the Archbishop of Yaoundé. That is, and that destroys the collaboration that our people need to move this process forward. Now, it is not helpful at all if in the process of negotiation and collaboration, forces which are considered sister forces are killing each other. Obviously, we've seen this in Guzang, we've seen it elsewhere. It is destructive for our people. Now, when a sister force opens fire on another one because they're accidents of war, we call it friendly fire. And leaders who recognize that that was an accident of war will come out with a speech that says, our forces committed a major error and sister forces took friendly fire, and unfortunately we lost lives. We apologize for this. We condole with the families that are aggrieved, and we commit that we will be more professional going forward. You don't beat your chest. You don't say you are right. You don't say, you are arming your forces additionally to make sure that they can take out other forces. You don't ban other forces from working in a field where we are still recruiting. We're asking everybody to answer the garrison call and to show up to fight for Ambazonia. So I say on this issue, we cannot dream about unity because it does not exist unless we want to build a one-party state. We can work on partnership and collaboration because that is the way that this process builds, in a way that every wave lifts all boats and all of us rise and sink together. Hopefully, we rise and rise together, not sink.
Thank you very much, Comrade Boh. Yeah, let me go to Baristar, who is a member of the ACT team, and he can really tell us the comments made by the Canadian High Commission that secession is unrealistic. I don't understand why the commissioner was saying that, knowing that Canada is the one supporting the negotiation process, and when we see that, they would think of the other members who are trying to go against this negotiation process. So, what do you say? Because when you see this coalition for dialogue and negotiation, they are now called a coalition for surrender. They went and be making surveys. You see, those are the things that makes, people started saying that secession is unrealistic. How can you go and be asking Ambazonians to make survey whether they want to be dependent or they want to be independent? We know that the survey came out to be 86%, said they want to be independent. There's no country on earth that you ask the people that do they want to be dependent or they want to be independent, that they will not have 100% say they want independence. So, Baristar, what do you say about this?
Frits, before I answer your question directly, I want to make a statement here. One, this revolution has an interim government that started in Nigeria as a governing council, a metaphor into the interim government. They are the leader of this revolution, whatever is happening in ground zero, while we can give credit for everybody, we should know that it is thanks to the interim government that we control ground zero. It is thanks to the interim government that we control the ghost towns and whatever you find going on. It is thanks to the interim government that we have the ACT team right now. Because this is these things happen in all the revolutions around the world. I know my friend Comrade Boh is a well-read man. He has certainly read what happened in East Timor. He has read what happens in Eritrea, and he has read what happened in South Sudan. He has read what happened in most other places. In all these revolutions, like the PLO, there is always a government in waiting. You may not call it a government, an organization in waiting that is the leader of the revolution. And I want to tell you that there is no way that when I mean we, I mean ACT plus the interim government can collaborate with people who have a different agenda other than independence and the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon. We cannot collaborate with people whose agenda is to kill our people on the ground, like Boh just alluded to. Look, I will not call it friendly fire. When you connive, act, and execute our people and they die on the ground, you cannot call that friendly fire. Friendly fire is when you shoot and bullets fly and then they go and catch our people, some people who are your partners. I don't see how you can collaborate with somebody who is killing the very people we are working for. I don't see how you can collaborate with somebody who is against what we did in 2017 and is now talking about federation to stay with La Republic, to continue to stay in one Cameroon. You cannot collaborate with such people. We also agree that, like any revolution or like a democracy, people have their different ideas. We must accept those ideas. If the ACT exists today, it is because that is a group of associations that believe in the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon. It was put together and it was open to anybody who agrees with the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon, and they have one objective going into those negotiations, which is not negotiable: our independence and sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon. Boh Herbert knows that it is not negotiable. That is why these groups that believe in the statehood of Southern Cameroon got together, and you now call them Ambazonian Coalition Team. And it's a very effective organization right now. And it is the one piloting the only international negotiations available to all Southern Cameroonians. But there are people who left prison with a different idea. There are people who are in prison with different ideas. There are people who are killing our people, and they are collaborating with the enemy. We cannot collaborate with such people because you will be selling your security intelligence. You'll be selling your tactics. You'll be selling all what you have been working for. So the ACT team, as it is now, is in the driver's seat with the interim government. And we are negotiating and going forward to having our country back, like the professor carefully put it. Listen.
Thank you. Okay.
Anybody who does not know, who disagrees that the interim government exists and is in the driver's seat of this revolution, well, I from my opinion, I know that it does exist. Thank you very much. And now let me answer the
Thank
question.
you.
Let me answer the question about the ambassador of Canada. You see, I took time and read what the ambassador of Canada said in his interview. He is a very seasoned diplomat. I don't know what Ambazonians want. You don't want a diplomat like that to come out and say we support the the separation of Cameroon, what they call separation of Cameroon. But he made
Right.
one statement. The only solution is an international negotiation with an international mediator.
Mediation. Right.
That was the only takeaway from that interview. The rest is diplomatic talk.
Yes.
So don't read too much into what he said, and so on and so on. They have not been able to solve the problem of Quebec in Canada. They are, in fact, of all the prime ministers that have ever governed Canada, almost more than 50% Boh have come from Quebec, I think. But because they don't want, because it's a democracy, anytime that Quebec takes a referendum and wins, they are leaving. And Canada does not want that. So they are doing everything to cajole them to stay. It is not the same thing with us. We were an independent country before we joined La République du Cameroun. As Boh clearly stated it on the 21st of April 1961, the United Nations in its resolution 1608 voted for our independence. And there is no way that La République can deny that vote, even though they didn't vote for it. In fact, they are not even supposed to force us into anything because they did not vote for that resolution. What do they think they are? Look at Senegal and Gambia. Senegal and Gambia were two independent countries. They got together, and within a few years, it wasn't working. Everybody walked away. Why is La République killing us? Like the professor carefully analyzed it, because of our oil, because of the minerals, because Southern Cameroon is the richest a country in Black Africa, I mean Central Africa right now, or you call it Central West Africa right now. And so La République and France will die if they don't have us. But I can tell you right now, I'm predicting that they will never have us. We are gone, and we are gone for good. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that great analysis. Professor, I want you to come in here because we have seen a rise, different magnitude of crimes committed by La République. And, its progression is getting wider and the escalation every day. We see many people being killed. The international community is silent. So how do we see, for how long are we going to see the United Nations come and establish the Geneva Convention, where we have that, kind of a buffer or a special court that can help our people, because people are dying every day. So we don't know what's going on, Professor.
Okay, you have to be very careful with these United Nations. All right, with the small experience I have, I look at South Sudan. I was here since the 80s, and I was living at university campuses with some South Sudanese people. They were talking to me about what was going on in their country. The United Nations, I don't want to say something out here, which is, this United Nations is a very strange organization. All right. They were being bombed in the air constantly by al-Bashir, killed in very large numbers in Darfur, everywhere, and the United Nations said nothing. And it went on for years and years and years and years, and 5-6 million people died until it just came out sometime, I think in late 1990s. All of a sudden, they say, "Oh, there's death going on, there's war going on in South Sudan." And then George Bush is the one who came and split those two countries. All right? But it was George Bush who did it. I don't like Republican Party in America, but it was George Bush who initiated that. Okay? The historians here will probably correct me.
Right.
It was George Bush who stopped it, right? Now, one of the things that worries me the most, right, is Congo. I have some neighbors here from Congo. They've been talking to me about what happened in Congo. It's the same thing happening in Cameroon. Eastern Congo is very rich in resources. The Congolese government, I don't know what is going on. I mean, as again, historians can tell me, it's sending militias there, shooting, killing, burning, raping. I saw a video on YouTube where they're saying nearly 10 million Congolese have died. The United Nations has sent a peacekeeping force in Congo, and those peacekeeping forces are involved in raping and the United Nations peacekeeping force. I'm not lying to you. The United Nations peacekeeping force has gone and seen the plenty that they consume, so many people to rape, so much stealing. They have now joined in. So look, let me tell you one thing, right? It's nice to call the United Nations. I think that's a good idea. The only way, right, is the way that this interim government is pursuing. I totally support them. The only way you're going to stop those primitive, uneducated children coming from La Republique, they've been trained in 2 hours, they've been given guns, they are trigger happy, they are running amok all over Southern Cameroon, killing at will. When you have that kind of situation, you let me tell you, you can't afford the only answer to that is you need to shoot. You are now dealing with a wild animal. You have to shoot them. You have to arm yourself and retaliate. Support your restoration forces. The moment, let me tell you, the first time I heard of ceasefire from this United Nations, okay, is when Southern Cameroon started shooting La Republique. When La Republique was shooting Southern Cameroon, when Boh came out and made his first statement against it, I did not hear the UN say anything about ceasefire. The first time I heard about ceasefire is when Southern Cameroon started shooting La Republique soldiers. They then became the victims. They went out and they said, "Oh, look at it! How can this happen to us?" This genocide, they can kill. We're not even 10 million. We can be exterminated. The only way we can stop extermination is by fighting brutally back. When those soldiers are going back home and they've got casualties, casualties in their car.
Fire for fire.
Once 2 of them have died, let's be honest. If you're driving a car home, you got four of your soldiers dead with you. You went there 10, 4 have died, blood pouring everywhere. You're going home. If they ask you to go back to that place again, you are going to think about it. You are going to think about it, right? So the only solution to this, as far as I'm concerned, if the UN thinks that this is gone out of hand, then there's so many things the United Nations can do. The United Nations can ask La Republique to withdraw their troops. They can. They've got the power to do it. America can ask La Republique to withdraw their troops. America has given sanctions for human rights abuses against Cameroon. All right, they have done that. They've withdrawn their weapons, which a lot of their weapons have been taken back. So they can take action against Cameroon. They can put no-fly zone, which they seem to have a kind of. They can tell them, don't cross this line. All right, they know Southern Cameroon is independent. They understand all of this. Why they're allowing this war to go on, I really don't know. I want some of the analysts to tell me. But what I can say to you is that those soldiers are not very educated. Their actions are sporadic. They are killing people in villages randomly. There is no logic in their behavior. So I'm saying the only thing is look at him as a wild animal and shoot him. Okay. You have to kill those people. I don't know what to say. That is what you have to do. You have to fight, support your restoration forces and absolutely go for it. You have to. Okay.
Thank you.
So I don't know what I've answered your question. I don't know what I've answered the question the way you wanted. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Professor. Comrade Boh, I saw the letter from the ACT team condemning Dr. Akwanga for his recovery, speech that he was saying. So I wonder what kind of recovery, coming from reconstruction to recovery. And so when I listened to Akwanga, I did not understand what he was trying to make from a recovery. He was saying, so I don't know, maybe you better explain, because I know we rejected the UNDP, we rejected the World Bank, we rejected all the United Nations thing that they talk about ceasefire during the COVID and all those kind of things. But now one of your member of the ACT team is coming to talk about some sort of kind of recovery. I think the Ambazonian need to know about this, because we rejected reconstruction. How can we move from reconstruction to recovery when we are still at war? Comrade Boh.
Yeah, thanks, Frits. The first thing I will say is that I don't speak for Comrade Akwanga. I have no crystal ball for knowing what he's thinking. I have no connection to his brain to understand what he's doing. And so I cannot speak on his behalf, but I can speak on behalf of ACT because we issued a statement. Again, it goes back to the point that Professor was making a moment ago about the democracy, even in the midst of this revolution, and the fact that our team will still have somebody that disagrees. We'll have a group that disagrees. And when that group disagrees and takes action that is contrary to the majority position in the team puts out a statement to say we desolidarize ourselves from whatever action the APLM and SUKADEF are taking in association with or in partnership with the United Nations, which is a dangerous organization. Professor was just saying it a moment ago. Or with UNDP, which is an agency of the United Nations, which itself is also a very dangerous organization. Now, the best way to put this is to say that when you know that majority supports a particular position, you focus on that position, and that's why ACT put out a statement that said, we do not share what the APLM put out, we will not support it, and we called on the people of Ambazonia to oppose it, whatever it is that they are trying to do. Now, that notice also was served to the international community. That notice basically tells La République du Cameroun, it tells France, it tells the United Nations, it tells the World Bank and the IMF and the African Development Bank and others who believe that they can sneak behind our backs and do business, either with individuals or with individual groups, that we're not going to let that happen. That the divide and rule is not going to be allowed to proceed. Now, at the level of ACT, we are trying to understand what is the full extent of what is unfolding. And when we will know, the people of Ambazonia will know. For the time being, just to go back to the United Nations and point out that, there's a reason why the League of Nations went belly up. There's a reason. It went belly up because it was not functioning. Now, the United Nations just recently celebrated, I think it was its 70th anniversary. It has been around 70 years too long. The United Nations is not working. For the people of Africa, it is important to point this out because Ethiopia right now is fighting a bloody war with its northern region in Tigray. Mozambique is fighting a major insurrection with people in the Cabo Delgado in the northern part of Mozambique. The peoples of Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso and Cameroon and the La République du Cameroon and Chad and Nigeria are fighting Islamic insurrection in the northern parts of their country. Plenty of these insurrections have been created so that they can allow the French to activate their accord de coopération, their military support to this country, so that the military industrial complex in the West can deploy weapons. You mentioned a moment ago that United States government had issued military sanctions against Cameroon. Yet the United States government has continued to supply weapons and other equipment to the government of Cameroon. They were the ones that trained the bee, that equipped the bee. They still have a unit based in Garwa that has got drones that are being flown around Ambazonia today to identify where our people are. They're using American taxpayers' money to fund a genocidal war in Ambazonia in the face of the United Nations, which itself is, what can I call it? A white elephant in the face of what it has established by way of veto power. So people have told Ambazonians, for instance, including this coalition for dialogue and negotiation, they have told the people of Ambazonia that the most preferred way for the people of Ambazonia to proceed is to have a mediation that is led by the United Nations. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but if you understand how the United Nations works, they're basically saying, because it is a matter of peace and security here, that the United Nations Security Council can be expected to sit in session and agree with the French not vetoing that there should be some kind of force put to place, that there can be a mediation put in place. The French have intentionally, very intentionally, not only ignored this genocidal war, the French gave its okay for this war. I recall that French President Emmanuel Macron held a tete-a-tete meeting with Paul Biya in Côte d'Ivoire on the 29th of November 2017, on the eve of Mr. Biya returning to Yaoundé and declaring war. And Mr. Macron gave Mr. Biya the green light to declare that war. The same way that they gave the green light for the war against Algerians. When Mr. Macron was confronted by an activist at the agricultural exhibition in Paris, who told Mr. Macron that there is a genocide unfolding in my country, Mr. Macron said to that activist that I am perfectly implicated in everything that's going on in Cameroon. They were his words, perfectly implicated in everything that's going on there. And he said that he was going to take action. The activist, again, let me recall, was talking to him about genocide in Ambazonia. Mr. Macron's decision was to call for the release of Mr. Kamto and to call for the release of some prisoners linked to the MRC of Mr. Kamto. So in effect, Mr. Macron, who had the powers to not only issue these orders to Mr. Biya, but to ridicule him publicly by saying if he did not do it, he could not be seen, Mr. Macron decided, I'm not going to deal with the genocide the same way the French did not deal with the genocide in Rwanda. In fact, they gave it more energy. He decided he's not going to deal with the genocide in Ambazonia. He's going to deal with freedom from Mr. Kamto. So this is the United Nations we are looking at, the same organization that will be up in arms when the Russians invade Crimea. If the Russians cannot invade Crimea, La République du Cameroun cannot invade southern Cameroon. It is a very simple principle. Sovereign people deal with their sovereign issues. And we like to recall that, even if Ambazonia was not independent, it happens that it is. But even if it was not, the arrangement by which a dominant French-speaking group, organized, as the professor was saying a moment ago, as a clan or cult led by the Fangbulu people, if they organize colonial domination of a minority English-speaking part, that is what colonization is, and that is what colonization looks like. And so, even if we were an integral part of La République du Cameroun, that contraption, that arrangement constitutes colonial domination against which we have a right to rise. And I'm glad that the people of Ambazonia have risen. And I am disappointed that some people think that they can make a deal as individuals. Team Ambazonia will prevail. That is what is going to happen. And those who want to negotiate as part of the Ambazonian team will have to join Team Ambazonia. Otherwise, they will be with La République du Cameroon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Comrade Boh. That was a good one. You got to the nooks and crannies of it. I want to call in Baristar Frits because we heard about, yes, this question go to you, Baristar, because we heard that Agbobara, your colleague and your former, that he was complaining about the legal system, the poor legal system back home, and how things are moving back home. And we hear that the treatment of the prisoners, the prisoners of war, is not in accordance with the Geneva Convention. So he was trying to complain about the legal system. But all of us know that it was because of the poor legal system that we started this crisis back in 2017. All these things started like that. And why should he be complaining? Because you have been one of the defense lawyers of Eyongakumbe and the other Naira 10, and you know what happened to you. And you even won the legal battle in Nigeria when all those arrested in Nigeria, they were supposed to send back to Nigeria and offered some financial something. But now Agbobala know very well that legal system is not correct. He is pretending, or I don't know, because you know better.
Frits, again, let me say something about Comrade Eyongakumbe before I answer your question. You see, I've been a lawyer for more than 30 years, and I've had my own share of picking my witnesses when I have a very important case. Right. I will not put a loose cannon among my witnesses. Comrade Eyongakumbe and his organization is a loose cannon in act. Let me explain myself. What do I mean by loose cannon? When you have a group of people who have an objective and they're working on an objective, and there is somebody who is unpredictable, he can take unilateral decisions that will affect the bare survival of that organization. What do you do? Right. That is something to think about. Now, to answer your question, the legal system in Cameroon, when I mean Cameroon, I mean La République du Cameroon, is the 18th century civil law of the French. The French have evolved, but La République is still given the Napoleonic laws of the 18th century. And adding to that, you have dictatorship. That 18th century civil law of the French plus dictatorship has produced what you have in Cameroon as not a legal system, but something mumbo jumbo, whatever they call that. I have had my own share of doing cases in Douala, and each time I'm in court, I have never been able to understand the system. For the several years, I have never been able to understand the system. We have a legal system in Ambazonia, Southern Cameroon, which is the common law. The common law, right from its inception in medieval periods in the United Kingdom, was handed down to the colonial powers or the the colonies that United Kingdom colonized, and it's a legal system with checks and balances, with presidents, with a lot of. And if you look at it very carefully, the British don't have a written constitution. There's no written constitution. They rely on the cases they do, and they develop the principles of law from the cases that have been handed down over the centuries. And it is very well knit together, and it's a very effective legal system with checks and balances, with respect for human rights, with respect for individual rights, respect for the right of the defense. But in Cameroon, what do you have? They came and took us and joined to them, and they have been struggling over the years to adulterate our common law, sending all kinds of magistrates and some lawyers to go and practice in Ambazonia, in southern Cameroon, to adulterate that common law and to make it obsolete. I don't know why Aguabala is complaining today. Because since he came out of prison, he would have been a party to us. Look at how we can extricate ourselves from these devils and institute a good legal system that people like Aguabala can practice in. Aguabala is a general counsel to me. He's in Boya. But he's an intelligent young man, but with misplaced priorities. If a lawyer in Boya is complaining about the legal system, if a lawyer in Boya is complaining about a legal system, it should not be Aguabala, because he has been in the front line.
Can you focus? No, his focus was that our prisoners of war, more than 100 and 1,000, almost 100, and they don't have legal lawyers to defend them. So
listen,
I don't know, yeah.
Listen. Our prisoners of war are mostly detained in La République du Cameroun, and they are subjected to the military courts of La République du Cameroun. When I was lead counsel, Aguabala was part of the legal team. He saw the difficulties that we went through. We saw what we went through, but we were able to hold that court fair bound, that they could not even arraign them for the 10 months that we were there. But this legal system is very, very bad. Look, Cameroon cannot claim that it respects the Geneva Convention as it concerns prisoners of war. Otherwise, you don't take prisoners of war and add them to common criminals.
Exactly.
And put them in the same prison.
Exactly. They are
supposed to be held in specific prisons, so that when it comes to negotiations, we can have what you call exchange of prisoners, or exchange of some kind of release agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
right.
You take our people, you leave the so-called colonial military court that you have created in Bamenda and Boya. You transport our people to Douala and Yaoundé, and you try them there on a law that they know nothing about. And I'm surprised that it is today that my colleague Aguabala is talking about it. But I will give him credit for at least raising it. But he should have known better. Because if he knew better, I would be sitting on this screen now with him, and we'll be talking law, and we will be fighting together to get our country back. But he's sitting there in Boya. Yes, he's sitting there in Boya and talking from two sides of his mouth. So I don't know what else to say.
Thank you very much. Professor Eyong, I want you to come in when it comes to this issue of the DDR, the de-radicalization, and the motive behind this. I want you to come in here because this aspect of de-radicalization and disarmament and reintegration is very one-sided, because we know in any war or any conflict, disarmament and ceasefire must happen on both sides. So how is La Republic coming to say that our own restoration fighters should be disarmed, should be reintegrated, by themselves, when their army and their terrorist fighters are still killing our people? Is this not like a one-sided thing? Because I know disarmament and ceasefire happens only after both parties agree.
After the war ends.
Yes, after the war ends.
Yeah,
Professor,
good,
right.
correct, yes. As I said the last time, the UN, the United Nations got involved, started talking about ceasefire. I think the head of the United Nations, the first time I heard him intervene was when we started fighting. Because at that point, whatever agenda he had with Paul Biya, they did not expect us to fight. They just expect to carry on genocide like they do in Congo, they do in Sudan, wherever the genocide is taking place. I'm sure that they already know they are going to quieten these people, and then they will tap their oil. So it's all clear. There are a few people causing trouble, shoot those people, and then take your oil. So it was clear. But the moment you fight, all of a sudden you've confused the whole system. They don't get it. Okay, ceasefire. The United Nations said ceasefire at that point. All right. For La Republic, who is, tell you what, when this problem started, let's be honest, people were running around with leaves, isn't it? It was about schools and stuff. There was no. We didn't know about guns in Southern Cameroon. I grew up in Tico. Nobody had guns. All right.
Exactly.
I
Nobody
remember
had to,
Cameroon, when they started shooting people, they took guns. I saw the weapons they were taking to Southern Cameroon. I was wondering, where are they taking these weapons to? Who are you fighting? Are you fighting against the Russians? I mean, you got some protesters, and you got rocket-propelled grenades. Some of the guns I've never seen in my life. They were heading to Southern Cameroon in large numbers, just going and going. It was like the Iraq War all over again. They were fighting defenseless people, and they used it. They actually used those guns to shoot Southern Cameroonians, defenseless people, and they killed them. I don't know how many they've killed. Okay? Now, then, why you are killing like that, you then have, when these people start to defend themselves, La Republique is so shocked. You have the audacity to defend yourself? So you then ask them now, okay, so all I can say is La Republique is arrogant, isn't it? They're just arrogant. They are absolutely arrogant. We are just cattle. We are just there to be slaughtered. The fact that we are defending ourselves is shocking to them. All right? Look, we should continue, Southern Cameroonians. What happened in Congo is because the Congolese people never fought back, and 10 million died. They prayed, they called the UN, they've done everything, but they did not fight. Since Southern Cameroonians started fighting, the genocide, I'm the only one to say this, right? And everybody might disagree with me, but this genocide, in the way it was going, it has been averted. Because those people who came to carry out genocide, they know now that they could be killed. If you are going to some of these villages now, you could die. And that is changing the way the genocide is going to be carried out. All right? Because Southern Cameroonians are fighting back. We have a duty to protect the citizens of Southern Cameroon. La Republique has targeted, this is a fact, La Republique, they are incapable of actually fighting inside those thick forests. They don't like to get their shoes dirty. All right? So they go into a village where there's grandmothers, babies sleeping, and they execute people there. Why they are doing that is to try to create this media fear that they are dangerous people. Look at what they did in the north. They just took a woman, some babies, tie them up, shoot them, and then take a picture of it and put it on social media. How do you think we see these pictures of their crime? They are actually putting it, the soldiers, they're actually putting the gruesome crimes that they are committing on social media, and the Republic does not even bother to investigate it. Unless somebody from our side starts asking questions, the Republic does not even investigate the crimes. So for them to turn around after they have slaughtered us and they continue to slaughter us and say, drop your weapon, it is the height of arrogance. So I don't know what, maybe I don't want to go away from the question. We should not be dropping any weapons. The idea of dropping weapons should never come to our mind. We should never set a date of dropping our weapons. We are a group of people who are haunted. They were a group of people that are not liked. We are being massacred at an alarming rate, and we should be the last people. I mean, the district officer of Manfera, he just came out and asked people from my village to leave their village and go into oblivion. That deal of Manfera, I am looking for him myself. After the people have left, listen to this, after those villagers have left in all these different villages, he then came back a week later and said he didn't mean what he said. He then sent soldiers. Listen, he sent soldiers at these people were escaping. He sent soldiers to be shooting them while they are running away as refugees.
Oh my God.
You can check with the refugees themselves what they said. They didn't say that they were attacked by restoration forces. It was La Republic soldiers that came and killing them while they were running away and taking pictures and laughing. When you are dealing with a barbaric animal like that, you don't drop your weapons. That is suicide. What is keeping Southern Cameroonians alive today is the fact that they are fighting. And your weapons, there will be more drafting, and people should donate money so that these people can find more innovative ways to protect themselves. To stop La Republic traveling on the roads, to stop them visiting villages, because when they go to village, they kill people. So there's no point for them going there. You know, we get back to the drawing board and think about it. We are dealing with a genocide. I mean, you've said that too many times. I don't want it to become a cliche. But we are dealing with a genocidal group of people. And we are, unfortunately, Southern Cameroonians, I'm going to mix topics here. We are being colonized by a very primitive tribe from Central Africa called the Beti. We are colonized, whether you like it or not. And they're using any means possible, any means possible to maintain that colonizing attitude. All right? Dropping of weapons, no. That is my opinion. I think that's the same opinion that the panel will share with me. We are not, it will be the biggest mistake.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof. That was a good one. You know, we'll be closing, but I just want to ask this last question to Comrade Boh about this AFCON, this African Nations Cup coming in 2021. And we had the colonial minister of sports was saying that avec haute instruction, from the, you know, they like to use those big words, you know. He was saying that je m'engage personnellement, that le président lui-même dit que son discours, je cite, le Cameroun sera prêt le jour dit. Je m'engage personnellement pour le Coupe d'Afrique. So, Comrade Boh, I want to ask you this, because these people think that we are joking. They want to come and organize African Cup of Nations when there's a war going on. I don't know what they are really thinking. Do they think that we are joking, or they don't want to go to negotiation and they're trying to play around with all these games?
Well, thank you very much. Let me start off by just thanking Professor for laying it down very clearly, because disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration is a myth. Nobody should be talking about it. Nobody should be entertaining it. Nobody should be embracing it. And every Ambazonian former fighter who has dropped their weapons, who has committed the suicidal error of dropping their weapons and walking into a disarmament center, they have delivered themselves into the mouth of the lion, because they know very well that they are the same people who are being used to go out and slaughter our people. They are the people that La République Cameroon is going to use in invasion of our villages. They are going to become the bait. They are going to be the ones who are going to detonate the bombs that our people are going to set up on highways. They are going to be the one that La République soldiers are going to get to walk into that village first and be killed first. And they are going to be the one that our people are going to remember for having betrayed the cause. And when the time comes, all of them can read up the history of Algeria. When the time comes, people who have been traitors and enablers, as Baristar John Frusso was saying at the beginning of the program, they find themselves living in Yaoundé, unable to return home. There's no benefit to be obtained by dropping weapons when you are asserting your right to self-determination and your right to self-defense. Maurice is one of the groups that advocated a peaceful, legal, nonviolent approach to this whole matter. But you don't talk nonviolence. You continue to talk nonviolence, but you raise self-defense as the issue. Because, again, Ambazonians don't have a military force. Ambazonians have volunteer self-defenders who have risen up because that's the only way they can defend their communities. That's the only way they can defend that mother and that baby that Prof was discussing a moment ago is getting slaughtered by these animals called, the bee forces of Mr. Bia. So this is not an issue to be debated. And if anybody is trying to come and organize the Africa Cup of Nations in anywhere in Ambazonia, they should watch the videos that show Ambazonian forces blowing up armored cars, because those buses in which they are going to ride are small compared to those armored vehicles. There's going to be no protection, no security for anyone. La République du Cameroon cannot offer that security for themselves, let alone try to offer it for delegations upon delegations of people coming from numerous countries to come and essentially enjoy themselves at a football tournament. When Ambazonia will organize the Africa Cup of Nations, we will invite them to a beautiful country to come and see us host people in the best way possible. And by that time, they will know that every Ambazonian carries their weapon, because every Ambazonian, if you are 16 years and older in Ambazonia, you're going to have a gun. You're going to be trained as a military reserve person. You are going to have that gun in your house, male, female, old, and young. Because at any time, when they invade Ambazonia, as they may be tempted to do from La République or from Nigeria or from wherever else, we will be ready for them, the same way Israel has been ready for the Arab world. So forget about this armament. We are arming. And the other thing is that we are actively asking the world, including the United States, to do for us what they did for the Afghan people or for the Iraqi people or for the Libyan people when it was time for them to take away their dictator, when it was time for them to take away, Gaddafi, when, give us the same weapons you gave to people in East Timor to fight, the same weapons you gave to people in Kosovo to protect themselves. It is not enough to say that you have put military ban against La République du Cameroon. If you recognize the right of the people of Ambazonia to self-defense, you need to provide us with the equipment with which we need to defend ourselves. It is a treaty obligation on the part of the United States for a country that loves freedom. It is practice by the Congress of the United States to support people who are fighting for freedom all over. And we hope that a Joe Biden administration will walk that talk and will allow the people of Ambazonia to access the weapons they need to go out and kick La Republique out of our country.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank all the panelists for coming. I want to thank all the televiewers for this wonderful show. Remember, the Analyst is every Saturday at 8 p.m. Amber time. And I want to leave, thank you, panelists, Comrade Boh, Comrade Baristar Nsoh, and Professor Ayo. I'm very grateful for coming to this show, and I thank the audience and thank the televiewers. I want to leave all the audience with this saying: if you can't be a bridge to connect people, then don't be a wall to separate them. If you can't be a light to brighten people's deeds, then don't be the darkness covering their efforts. If you cannot be the water to help people's crops sprout, then don't be the pest destroying their crops. If you can't be the vaccine to give life, don't be a virus to terminate it. If you can't be the pencil to write one's happiness, then don't try to erase people's happiness. Thank you very much, and see you all next week, Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frits.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, fellow panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Herbert, thank you.
Boh,
Baristar.
I'll be calling you in the next 5 minutes, Boh. Let me call you.
Thanks, bro.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming.